Hey guys, it's Adam. Just want to talk about marathon training, what I'm training for coming up here, and kind of how I'm doing it. Right now I'm training for the Flying Pig Marathon, which is coming up here in May the 6th. It's in Cincinnati, Ohio. If you haven't heard of it, you can check it out on Google. Just Google Flying Pig Marathon. It's basically Cincinnati's annual race. It's decent size marathon. I think there's over 10,000 participants or something like that. A lot of fun, really fun race. And if you haven't done it before, I would check it out. It's really well organized, well run as well. So I would definitely check it out if you haven't already. What I'm doing to do that is to get ready for it is I'm doing P90X2, which a little bit of history. I've been doing P90X for probably 3 years now and supplementing training programs with that. Running training programs, I should say. So before I started doing that, basically what I would do is do your typical, download from the internet, find it on the internet training program, run it for, 3 months or whatever it would take to get up to a half marathon or a 10K or whatever it was. I would run that and run 4 days a week, get up to 40, 50 miles, whatever they said to do is what I did. And it was okay. But I kept getting injured was the problem I was having. It seemed like every year I was having some sort of injury that would sideline me for a number of weeks, and I would I'd get some momentum going, feel like I was running really well, and then I would get hurt and have to sit out for a little while. So I got really frustrated with that, and at one point I found when I was injured, I found P90X, and just thought it looked cool, so I decided I'd do the program. I was hurt at the time and couldn't really run, but I could do most of the exercises in that. So I started doing that as I was healing, and after I got done, I got great results and all that. I mean, you see all the videos of the great results people get. I got great results as well. But I went and ran a 5K after that, and actually ran, I think, the fastest 5K I'd ever run. I PR'd a 5K, and I hadn't really run a whole lot during P90X, maybe the last phase I did. So I became a believer right away, and I started using it in training programs. I started supplementing P90X with running and vice versa, and a lot of cross training and that type of thing. It has a lot of plyometrics in it, a lot of yoga, stretching, and that type of thing, which is just all great for runners. So if it definitely makes you stronger and makes you faster. So that's kind of where I'm coming from here. P90X2 is it's the sequel to P90X. I've moved on to that now, and I'm using that as my base training program, and I'm supplementing running in. So P90X and P90X2 are there's definitely some similarities to them, but excuse me, there's also a lot of differences to them as well. P90X, they both use, the similarities are they both use 3 phases. Which they use a theory called periodization, or they call it muscle confusion in P90X. So you run a series of routines or exercises for like 3 weeks, and then you take a recovery week, and then you mix those all up and run them again for 3 weeks, and then you take a recovery week, and then you mix it all up again. So that the idea is that you continually confuse your muscles and that you don't plateau. As soon as you're going to hit a plateau, you mix up the exercises so you don't plateau and you continue to get stronger. So P90X2 is very similar to that, except the 3 phases are a lot different. They're all very distinct. Whereas I'm in phase 2 right now, but I went through phase 1. It is a foundation phase. You are doing basically a lot to work your core. You're working balance and that type of thing the entire phase. If you're not good at balance or your core is real weak, you're going to struggle in that phase. I struggled a little bit in that phase. Balance isn't my thing, but I kept doing it. So then you move on to phase 2, which is a strength phase. It's probably the most similar to P90X. It does a lot of just good strength routines, push-ups, pull-ups, that type of thing, except you're doing a lot of these from either unstable or athletic positions, which is just continuing to really work that core and work your base and your foundation and make your foundation a lot stronger. And then you move on to phase 3, which is a performance phase. And phase 3 uses a new theory called post-activation potentiation. It is all based on movements that are going to make you perform better at sports. With P90X2, I think that's probably the biggest difference between P90X and P90X2 is that P90X2 is built with the athlete in mind. It's built to make an athlete better at performing sports. It's going to make you more powerful, going to make you faster, and going to make you better all around stronger, so that you perform better and you know, without getting injured and that type of thing. So if you have any questions about how I'm supplementing in the running, how I'm getting my running supplemented in with that, I'm not running a ton of miles. I don't think I really need to be honest with you. The workouts are hard enough by themselves. So if you have questions about that, you can email me. My email is info@klaushauscoaching.com. It's on the screen. You can also check out the website. It is klaushauscoaching.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Talk to you later.